So lately my video quality has been ragged as of late, but I'm just gonna move on. So you see it kind of like going in and out. That's the reason why. And I don't have on like any lipstick today, so this is the authentic me. Anyway, so I saw this movie again with my brother, and it was good. It was sad, but it was good. I mean, it took me in for some loops and some turns, and I wasn't upset about it, but the ending kind of made me like I don't know. But anyways, so there was like a lot that happened in the beginning, like with like I think some kind of like war, and a lot of people like got drafted, and a lot of people died, and there was like some kind of flood, and then they had to like reorganize, like, you know, like kind of like I guess a rezoning of like the city or whatever. So they had like these big walls and whatnot. The main character was played by Hugh Jackman. He kind of was like some, this guy who ran this business where they had this machine that you get into, and the machine like replays your memories, and you can like be like basically immersed into past memories, like the definition of like living in the past, literally. So at first I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, but then I was like, but they got whole people coming up here paying y'all to literally live in the past. That's not healthy. But hey, they were making a living, but apparently like they were like struggling to make ends meet because people weren't just coming around like how they used to. And then Dandy Newton, I think that's who that is. Y'all don't drag me. I believe it's Dandy Newton. She was his like, I guess co-star or whatever, and she was like, with him, and she kind of just like, we need to like, we're sinking, like, and you need to do something about it. And she wanted to work for, I think, like the FBI, because like apparently they were using like the same technology to like get criminals or something like that. And so this woman comes, of course she's like really beautiful or whatever. She's like, so I know you guys are about to close, but like I lost my keys, so I just want to come so that I can get in the machine so I can see where I left my keys. And they were like, well, I guess, like, who are we to turn you away? Sure. And so from the moment she had got in there, the crazy part about it is, of course, spoiler alerts, of course, that entire time she was using him. She was basically using him. And from the very first moment, when she went in there talking about, I lost my keys, I just need help finding my keys. And when he sees her about to perform, and she's like crying, and he's looking at her like, why is she so sad? Like, not even like, it's like, forget the keys, like, why is she sad? That's what he was concerned about. And where she performed. And so she was like, oh, thanks for helping me find my keys or whatever. And of course, he's like all in her face talking about, of course, he was like, I gotta find this chick. I gotta talk to her. And he like goes to her job, and he's like sees her singing. He was like asking her, oh, well, why were you crying? Like, whenever we were going back to look for your keys, like you were crying or whatever. And then she was like, oh, well, like whenever you get on stage, like you've gotta perform and give people what they want. You can't think about like, nobody cares about like how I'm gonna make my ends meet, and what I'm going through. And I was like, well, I mean, I guess that's understandable, sure, yeah, I can understand that. But it just felt, it was like, she's still sus. Like, I just felt like there was something she was leaving out, something she wasn't saying still. But he fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. He fell for it. When I tell you, it's like he was, like when you're fishing and you gotta trick the fish into getting on the hook before you reel him in. He wasn't tricked. He just jumped on the hook, and she just reeled him in. And I was like, whatever. They went home, well, to her apartment, wherever, and then they hit it off, and they had some real cute little romantic moments where they were like on the little balcony on the skyscraper looking down over the city, all these little moments together. And then bam, she just disappears, and he's like, I don't understand, like what happened? Like we were great. And then his like co-worker Dandy Newton was like, well, maybe she had baggage, and maybe she didn't really love you, maybe she just maybe she just was not into you. And he was like, no, I know her. And so he's like going through all this stuff, almost got himself killed like multiple times. And, you know, his coworker was like, look, I don't want anything bad to happen to you. I don't want you to die. Like, she literally had to save him. Like, after he went after the guy, I forgot what his name was, who she basically had got involved with when she had got on drugs. Went after him, almost died via drowning in a fish tank. And, it was kind of sad because the guy was like, no, don't shoot me or whatever. And I'm just like, bro, you kind of set your fate in stone, okay? Like, you were doing a lot of bad stuff. You tried to kill somebody, and I'm pretty sure he's done, you know, worse. She was like, sorry, bud. And I was like, I'm like, I'm like, bro, you almost died. And I get it, he wanted to, like, you know, I guess he felt like it was his responsibility because he loved her to find out what happened to her. But it's like, she was telling him, like, you are going to get yourself killed. And then they got into a fight, and he said something like, what are you talking about? Like, relationship this, relationship that. You don't even speak to your own daughter. And I was like, okay, now see, he went too far. Okay, he went too far. All right. She's like, well, you know what? Fine. You want to go chase after this girl and your pipe dreams? Go ahead. And then they show you how this was all some big elaborate scheme. And at first I was thinking maybe she just used him. Because he found out that, like, there was a moment where they were, like, alone. Well, like, you know, his coworker and the woman was alone. And she had did something and distracted her long enough to go into, like, the safe or something where they keep all of, like, their documents and files for, like, the people who come in there. It's supposed to be secret because you don't want that kind of stuff getting out because anybody can do anything with it. And apparently, there was, like, some, you know, there was, like, some woman, that young woman who was coming there often. And she was, like, looking or, like, replaying memories of herself sleeping with some guy who was a married man who was, like, I don't want to say he was, like, a mob boss, but he was, like, well, somebody who was very important, who had connections to people who could make her, like, disappear like that. And I feel like had they known the significance and the importance of who she was, they probably would have told her to stop coming there and burn her files. But because they didn't, they ended up finding out that woman, like, used him, tricked her, got into the piles, and found out where she was, where she stayed, so that the son of the man who she was sleeping with, the married man, sent a hitman after her and her son because he didn't want to have to share his father's fortune with a half-brother. And this is, like, another thing, like, with the whole, like, these women, these young women messing with these married men, talking about, oh yeah, like, he's gonna leave his wife for me. I'm like, first of all, even if he wanted to do that, she's gonna take him to the cleaners for his money, and she's going to probably win because you did sleep with him and he was a married man. And even, like I said, even if he does do that, if he's not broke before he gets to you, what makes you think she's gonna let you just, you know, do that unscathed? Some of these women really be out here thinking that they not gonna. Anyways, I'm moving on. So anyways, had that man after that young woman and killed her right when our son, I was like, oh God, he's gonna kill the boy too. I'm like, come on now, he's just a kid. He's just a kid. And then that's when the woman came and, like, stopped him. And I was like, oh, thank goodness. And I was like, well, I guess what happened really was she was supposed to use him to get what, you know, she wanted and basically get done what she was supposed to get done after she'd, you know, lived her life and got hooked on drugs and was doing some of everything, got caught up with wrong people and owed all kinds of bad people favors. And when she met him, guy played by Hugh Jackman, he basically inspired her to be a better person. I think that's, you know, really what happened. They fell in love and she was just like, I can't keep doing this. Like, you know, when she met him, she realized that there were people out there who had genuine love to give and that you didn't have to be a bad person. And, you know, it's kind of like he corrupted her with good, you know, good values maybe. But yeah, and I was like, well, dang, she really decided to do the right thing because of him. So basically he got her killed. Yeah, okay. But anyways, so she decided to do the right thing and still got caught up. And then that's when they got to that scene in the little dilapidated building that was, like, mostly underwater. And that whole scene where she knew he was gonna get that guy. I'm like, first of all, how did you know that, lady? How did you know that he wasn't gonna get killed before he got to him? Because he was not cut out for that life, clearly. Because he almost died, like I said, like a couple of times. But anyways, She knew that he was gonna catch up with him, and he did. And she had planned out that whole little speech, and was like talking to him, and I was like, wow, this is really thought out and drawn out, and this is a bit much for me. Like, you just punched me in my feelings. And then she like threw herself off of, like, you know, the balcony or whatever, because she was like, she was the only one who knew the location of where the boy was, and she was afraid that he was gonna try and basically torture it out of her. And then he went to go get the guy, and, you know, basically, you know, that, you know, she was like, I know that he's gonna get rid of you. Oh, don't worry. And he was like, you know what, you're wrong, because actually I'm not gonna get rid of you. And then I forgot what the term was whenever they do what he did to people, when you like make them, I think it's like when you make them try to like remember a memory that they actually don't have, and they go like into like a state of shock or whatever. Messed him up real bad. And then ended up going to jail. And I was like, so after all that jail time, that's what you wanted? But anyway, so he ended up getting out anyways. But it kind of made me mad, because it was like, his coworker was like, please just forget about this and just stay with me. And I feel like what she was really saying deep down inside was, we've been around each other for all this time. We might as well be together. Like, I care about you. I feel like you care about me, but let's be honest. He wasn't trying to mess with her. He wanted, like, we all understand what kind of situation this is, okay? Like, no, he didn't want the person who was reliable, who had been there for him all the time. No, he wanted the mysterious woman who was caught up in a bunch of junk. That's what he wanted. But I guess it was good that, you know, they met each other anyways, because maybe because of him, the kid lived. Maybe if she would not have met him, she wouldn't have chose to do the right thing, and the kid wouldn't have lived. I don't know. But like I said, that was kind of messed up, because like I said, and in so many words, he basically was like, if I can't have her, then I don't want to live. I don't want to live in the present. And like I said, this is like the embodiment of living in the past, which is really toxic. You know, you shouldn't just live in the past. Like, I get it. Sometimes good memories happen and you don't want to, like, move forward because you don't feel like anything else is left out there. But how would you know if you stay stuck in the past? And I was really like, at the end of the movie, I was like, so this dude is really just going to relive the moment over and over again, instead of, like, going out into the world and making new memories, as if she was, like, the only good woman that he could have came across. And I get it. Like, he was in love with her. Like, she was the one for him. I get it. But that's still not an excuse, you know what I'm saying? Like, he had people in the present who wanted to share moments of their life with him, and he chose to stay in the past. And legit, like, even in the moment when that young woman and his coworker were talking about, you know, right before she stole the files, basically she kind of said something or alluded to, like, well, I'm surprised that, like, all this time he's been here with you, he's not with you, basically. And she kind of was like, well, yeah, you know, whatever. You know, and so I'm just like, I feel like, I don't know, I just think that it was kind of like ridiculous. Like, not ridiculous, like, I get it, okay? I can't say I understand, but I get it. Like, but to just live in the past, like I said, with people who wanted to be there for you in the present, I just think that was just unacceptable. Like, that was just unacceptable. Like, that's just a no-no. You just don't do that, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that, like, again, I feel like it was like his way of saying, like, there's nothing else the world can offer him, and nobody else can, you know, fill the void that she left. And that's just not true. You know, like, yeah, you know, say what you want to. I just feel like that was just, whenever I saw him laying in that little pool and he had gray hairs, I was like, so you mean to tell me you never really, like, healed and, like, continued on with your life? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong for that, but I just feel like, I'm sure you can, there are people out there, okay, that's like, you know, don't just give up and live in the past. There's people out there that you can search for, you know, that you could be with. But like I said, it was a good movie. This was a pretty good movie, I gotta admit. Like I said, the little chamber thing where the little things came down, where the memories played, I thought that was really cool. And the way that they did it or whatever. It was good, but like I said, that ending, I was just sitting there like, you know, I don't know. Like I said, I could be wrong for that. But y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments.